Hey there, Darren Garman with the Heartland Multifamily Show. I am excited about this episode because in this episode, we're going to cover the 3 strategies to use to find that perfect multifamily property in the next 30 days. That's right, I'm gonna give you 3 key strategies to use, and you can use these right away to find that perfect multifamily property here within the next 30 days, okay? But look, before I go into what those 3 strategies are, I'm gonna ask you a favor. If you like this content, if you can relate to what I'm talking about, I'd love to get your comments. I'd love to get your feedback below. So leave those comments and that feedback below. We'd love to hear from you, okay? Secondly is, if you find value here, keep in mind this is the place for all things multifamily. So you'd want to subscribe to this channel and be part of the Heartland Multifamily Show family. We'd love to have you join our family. Welcome to the Heartland Multifamily Show, the shorter, more profitable path to multifamily ownership and investing. Now, let's get into those 3 strategies on how and what you need to do to find that perfect multifamily property here within the next 30 days. But I'm going to start a little bit different though. I'm not going to jump right into the strategies. I'm going to start by telling you what you don't want to do. That's how I'm going to start. What you don't want to do. Why am I starting with this, Darren? Why are you doing that? Because the majority of conversations I have with investors like you are along these lines. Yeah, Darren, I've been looking now for about 6 months and I can't find that multifamily property. Yeah, Darren, I've been looking now for about a year and I haven't been able to find anything. You get the point? The majority of the conversations I have with investors that are kind of frustrated in not being able to find a multifamily property is they're having trouble finding a multifamily property. Okay, so here's the main reason why. So picture what most investors do. So let's say today, you've decided for the first time, I think I'm going to find a multifamily property to invest in. I'm going to start looking for one. What do most people do? That's right. They get out their phone, they start searching. Okay. They open up maybe their computer, laptop, whatever, they start searching. Problem is, that's all they do. They get on the computer, they get on their phone, and they do a search. And that's what they spend most of their time doing. Sitting on their ass, okay, phone in hand, a computer in front of them, thinking that this is the way it's going to happen. I'm going to find it this way. Well, what do you think happens? Absolutely nothing. And then what will happen is they'll do that for a couple of weeks, not find anything. Then they'll start to throw stuff out on social media, Facebook or Twitter, maybe an Instagram or something, saying, hey, I'm looking for multifamily property. If you know of anything, if you see it, find it, let me know. Only to come up with 0 there too, okay? And so that cycle consistently repeats itself because many investors wrongly think that all they have to do, I'm going to emphasize that all they have to do, they think, is sit on their ass, get their phone, get the computer, do a search, and that magic perfect multifamily property is just going to come up. Come on. It's not that easy. And by the way, it shouldn't be that easy. However, that's what I find most investors doing and then frustrated that they can't find anything. Okay, so pay attention. Pay attention. Number 1, you don't want to do that. Okay, look, it doesn't hurt to do that. If you want to put something out there, fine, no problem. Do that once in a while. But don't depend on that as your source of finding your great multifamily property, okay? Okay, now, the 3 things, let's get into them. Number 1, the first thing you need to do is simply this, and this is to find that perfect multifamily property here in the next 30 days, is you simply contact the owners of those properties that meet your criteria. Simple as that. You contact those owners of the property that meet your criteria. And here's what you ask them. You basically say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Owner, I'm real interested in purchasing 123 Main Street. I love the location. I like the number of buildings you have. Would you be interested in entertaining an offer to sell that property? Okay, that's what you do. You contact the owners directly and you ask them, hey, Would you be interested in entertaining an offer to sell that property? Now, make sure you understand here. Have I said, hey, what are the units rent for? What are your expenses? How old is it? I haven't asked them any specific questions. Why? Because if they're not interested in selling, why ask all those questions, right? So we want to start with that. Find the owners of property meeting your criteria and ask them, are you interested in entertaining an offer to sell your property? I know your property, I love your property, I'm interested in buying it, okay? Go directly to the owners with properties that meet your criteria, all right? Now, here's a mistake some people make when they do this, is they do this one time, maybe 2 times, and they say, well, I didn't really get many owners that said they wanted to sell. Actually, most said that they didn't want to sell, so I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to stop doing that. Wrong decision, my friend. Wrong decision. Why? Because if you consistently go back and ask them, are you interested in selling? Are you interested in selling? I'm interested in buying. If and when the time comes when they finally decide that they want to buy, who do you think they're going to want to contact and talk to? That's right, you. Why? Because you've been consistently and tactfully asking them if they would have an interest in selling them your property. So remember, I talked about finding that perfect multifamily property in the next 30 days. You're going to have some decent candidates right away that are going to come up. They're going to be possible for you by just starting with strategy number 1, contacting the owners of properties that meet your criteria, okay? And again, the majority of these owners are going to say no, they're not interested in selling, but you contact them again 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, 9 months down the road, 3 or 4 times a year. And what do you think will happen 1 year down the road, 2 years down the road, and they're interested in selling? Chances are you're going to get that phone call, you're going to get that email, you're going to get that text, and it's going to say, hey, let's talk. I think we're interested. Because remember, owners of these multifamily properties are interested in selling when it's convenient for them, not when it's convenient for you. Okay, so timing's everything. But with strategy number 1, you're going to have some interesting properties to look at by contacting the owners directly. So that's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2, you want to contact real estate brokers. Now listen very closely to this. That specialize in multifamily in the market that you want to own multifamily in. Did you hear what I said? You want to contact real estate brokers, real estate agents that specialize in selling multifamily property. Here's a big mistake a lot of people make. Okay, they contact real estate agents to help them find an apartment property, a multifamily property to buy, except they mistakenly think that all real estate agents are the same. Look, if Sally's having an open house on Sunday and showing condos to 4 people on Monday and selling and having 3 closings of 3 single-family homes on Tuesday, Sally's not your person to find multifamily property. Sally doesn't know the market. Sally doesn't have the connection and the relationship with those multifamily owners. However, a real estate agent, a real estate broker that specializes in the sale of multifamily properties has spent a lot of time, effort, and energy in dialogue and contacting owners of multifamily property in the market that you want to own in, and they can provide you a great shortcut in finding properties that meet your criteria. Okay, I find this mistake made a lot. I'll just talk to a real estate agent. I'll just make a few phone calls. Oh, my cousin, she's a real estate agent with such and such real estate company. I'll just talk to her. No. Real estate agent or broker, they specialize in apartment property sales, and they've got a track record to do that. How do you find those people? Not hard to do. You just go online and you search for real estate brokers in the area or in the markets that you want to be in, and you'll get that search fine-tuned down enough where you'll find those real estate agents, real estate brokers that specialize in multifamily. Okay, you do that. It's going to be a game changer to getting that really great property that you want to own, especially here in the next 30 days. So we've gone over 2. Let's hit number 3. So number 1, again, you contact the owners directly of the properties that meet your criteria. Hey, do you want to entertain an offer to sell your property? I'm interested in buying it. Number 2, you contact real estate agents and brokers that specialize in apartments and multifamily properties in the market, obviously, that you want to own multifamily property in. Number 3, property management companies. Okay, property management companies. You contact property management companies and you speak with the person, the manager of the company. Okay, the manager of the company. You find out who that is, and your conversation is basically this. Hey, I'm looking to purchase some multifamily properties, and I would really have an interest in having your company manage those properties for me. Okay, do you have any owners that you know of that are thinking about possibly selling their multifamily properties? So think about it. You're the property manager. Okay. On one hand, you might be a little skittish about, oh yeah, if I tell this investor that my owners want to sell, and then I've lost that management business. But if you talk to the property management company and that manager, and you say, hey, look, I'd be interested in having you manage the properties for me if and when I buy those, that is a game changer. That's huge, okay, because it gets them to think, I can continue the business. Maybe this investor is going to buy even more. So in the mind of the manager of that property management company, they're not really losing any business by giving you that kind of access to some owners that are talking to them about selling. And by the way, usually one of the first people in the line to find out if an owner of a property is selling are the managers, because they've got to provide information. They've got to have those kinds of conversations first in order for the owner to get their ducks in a row to be able to get ready to sell. Okay, so let's review the 3, because I've given you 3 biggies here. Number 1, you contact the owners of properties meeting your criteria directly. Okay. Number 2, and you ask them, by the way, are you interested in entertaining an offer to sell your property? Number 2, you contact those real estate brokers in those markets that you're interested in owning property that specialize in multi-family property. Okay, and have them look for property meeting your criteria. And then number 3, you contact the property managers in that same market and you have the conversation with them that you are an investor, you're looking at purchasing some multifamily properties. You'd love to see if they would have an interest in managing the properties that you purchase. And by the way, do they have anybody they know of that is a client or a customer of theirs that will have an interest in selling now or in the near future? Now, here's the cool thing about the 3 strategies I just shared with you. Number 1, they're easy. This is not brain surgery here. This is very easy to do. Number 2, I hope that you've discovered, at least in your mind anyway, you've thought about the power of doing all 3 of these things together. Think about it. All right, you don't just do number 1, you don't just do number 2, and you don't just do number 3. If you do them all together at the same time, the chances of you locating and putting under contract a great multifamily property, within the next 30 days is really, really, really good. Okay, but the key is you got to do all 3 of them at the same time, and you've got to do them consistently. I promise you, if you do these 3 things, you will have some interesting multifamily properties come up. They're going to be great candidates for you to possibly invest in, yes, within the next 30 days. So I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of the Heartland Multifamily Show. Good luck in finding that multifamily property, and keep me posted with your progress. We'd love to hear from you.